Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation, how to use business lines of credit to buy investment real estate. My name is Siwing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network, and I really appreciate all of you, there are many of you who are currently attending this presentation, and you are going to be very, very glad that you did. This topic is very, very unique, very interesting, and very exciting. All right. Anyway, again, welcome. This presentation will be around 50 minutes in length, and without further ado, I just want to briefly describe myself. I'll be real brief. I don't want to go over too much on my background because I want to focus on the content. I've been a popular seminar and public speaker for many, many years now, and I have a bachelor's in accounting and a master's in taxation with emphasis in real estate. I'm retired with 20 years of service with the U.S. Army, 10 years active duty, and 10 years in a reserve, in the National Guard Reserve. And I retired back in 2002, I believe. It's been a while. Anyway, and taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about life, a lot about my what I've done so far. And anyway, I'm also a certified FICO professional and recognized consumer credit law expert. And I'm also California licensed real estate broker, licensed with the California Department of Real Estate. And I'm also an active member of numerous professional real estate associations. And my past professional life, I work as a financial planner with a major Wall Street firm from 1989 to 2004. And I'm also, since 1991, I am the founder of a highly successful credit repair company, Integrated Financial Solutions, here in Fremont. And I've helped tens of thousands of consumers and clients in cleaning their credit and improving their situation and overcoming their past financial crisis, so they can move forward with real estate investing and home ownership. And currently I own my company, like I said, the Year Real Estate Network for the past 10 years is a real estate investment club where I help real estate investors to purchase investment properties all over the U.S. And I've been doing it for a while very well, and I'm very, very excited to help people make lots of money. And the objective of this seminar is for the real estate investor who currently has properties and would like to buy more but has run out of money. And the second objective of this presentation is for real estate investors who have very good credit, however, but lack the money, lack the down payment to buy real estate. Okay? And normally, an investor traditionally uses the following sources of money to buy real estate. One, 20 to 25% down payment using cash from the savings, which is also known as a full doc loan, right? Two, other investors have all cash or their self-directed IRA to purchase properties with all cash. And three, some investors have they cash out refinance from their equity position of existing homes to buy real estate. And however, due to the current attractive real estate buying times, many investors have ran out of money, or beginning investors have no money at all. Therefore, how can one find more money to buy? And the solution to these challenges are by using a unsecured business lines of credit. All right, the acronym would be UBLOC, unsecured business line of credit, UBLOC. That's my definition. All right, what are the characteristics of our unsecured business line of credit? It's based solely on your personal credit with an ideal FICO score of 780 or higher. Secondly, it requires no collateral, not secured by any of your assets, personal or business assets. And third, This line of credit requires no tax returns, federal or state, and no job verification, no W-2 verification, no Schedule C for self-employed, nothing. Everything is based on your high FICO score. So why is this possible? Well, let's put yourself in the shoes of a lender. From a lender's perspective, why would I be willing to loan a borrower to have access anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000? Historic analysis of borrowers indicates consumers with a high FICO score is a good credit risk. Although current mortgage lending guidelines are very strict due to the mortgage subprime meltdown of a few years ago, this is pretty much the primary reason why this country is going through a deep recession. Question: how can I absorb the risk by providing a borrower so much money just by virtue of a high FICO score? The answer: lenders can absorb their risk by charging a higher interest rate. This is the underwriting criteria. This is their profit margin. The rates are anywhere from 7 to 15% plus about 8 or 9 points in fees. The fees which are rolled into the loan, so there's no money up front. Question: how does a real estate investor make a prudent decision to obtain this unsecured business line of credit, given the perceived cost of this product? The answer: by buying properties which can produce a higher rate of return relative to the cost of borrowing. Question: is this possible given today's real estate environment? Answer: absolutely. Many of the investment properties we have in our Yi Real Estate Network portfolio have rates of return which far exceed the 7 to 15% cost of borrowing from the line of credit. Further, the formula to calculate the monthly payments on this loan are the amount borrowed multiplied by 1.5 equals your monthly payment. For example, you qualify for $60,000 in line of credit and use all of it for the 25% down payment on a full doc loan package to buy a $250,000 back in North Dakota property. 60,000 multiplied by 0.015% equal approximately $900 of monthly debt payments on the unsecured business line of credit loan. Based on the pro forma analysis in the next few slides, the net monthly cash flow on the back end property in North Dakota purchase is $2,035. Okay, follow me very closely. All right, pay attention. Of course you are. So therefore, the net monthly cash flow from this purchase of this unit is $2,035 minus the $900 cost of borrowing from the line of credit. You still have a very significant net cash flow, $1,135 per month. Okay, do the numbers, people. Numbers make sense. So now let's think about it. If you ask yourself the question, how am I going to get rid of this $60,000 line of credit? Well, the answer is the $60,000 of the loan divided by the net cash flow, $1,135. It'll take you 53 months or 4.4 short years to pay off your loan because you have excess cash flow from this great investment property. Totally makes sense, okay? Common sense. So the question is, how much amount can one qualify for? The answer: in addition to have about 780 or higher FICO score, the most important criteria is on your credit report, how much revolving credit limits relative to the current balances will determine the amount you qualify for. For example, let's say you have 4 credit cards. Each have a credit limit of $5,000 for a total of $20,000. If your balance on each credit card is $2,500 on any given month, for a total of $10,000 on the 4 credit card, your utilization ratio is 50%. Therefore, you may not even qualify to get any line of credit because your ratio is too high and the risk is too high, even though you may have a 750 FICO score. If your ratio is in the benchmark of 25% ratio or less, based on the previous scenario, you may qualify for around $20,000 to $40,000 in the line of credit. So therefore, you know what to do, right? Pay down the balance as much as possible to reach the benchmark ratio of 25% or lower. Another example. This is critical. This slide is more critical than anything to determine your qualification to get the amount of money that you can get. All right, and listen very closely again. So the scenario is you have 5 credit cards: Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and Visa. They open. Ideally, if you've been using these revolving debts judiciously, and you open it, you had it for more than 2 years, it's called aging. That's desirable. Long-term payment history. So Visa, you open it back in March 09, MasterCard June of 2011, Amex February of 08, Discover September 2007, and Visa April 2007. So you have all those credit history for more than 2 years. That's a very good situation. And your credit limit is the relationship between your credit limit versus the running balance in any given month. So if you look at the credit limit, which is high, you want a high credit limit. 5,000 on Visa, 10,000 MasterCard, 15,000 American Express, 5,000 Discover, and 10,000 Visa, for a total of $45,000 credit limit. And your balance, look at the balance, very low, $500 on Visa. So if you divide 500 into 5,000, your utilization ratio, if you divide 10,000 credit limit by a balance of 2,000, the ratio is 20%, so forth and so on. So therefore, because of the low ratio, which is total cumulatively 9%, your credit limit is 45,000 and your balance is only 4,000, your ratio is 9%. This is an ideal profile. Lenders like that. Why? Because you show good aging. You show long-term payment history. The ratio is much less than 25%. You're very low risk. Okay, credit card accounts that shows open, by the way, not closed. Don't close any of your credit card payment history. Okay, when you close anything, you don't have a history to go by in the eyes of a lender. High credit limit, very low balances, shows good credit behavior. This profile, incidentally, may qualify you for up to $50,000 to $100,000 in line of credit. All right? Isn't that amazing? By the way, the department store cards, car loans, mortgage loans, and student loans are not an important criteria for qualification. Why? Installment loans are less reliant from the FICO scorecard risk analysis. All right? So most important is open credit cards, aging, low ratio, high credit limit, low balance. So what can you do with up to 100 grand available to you? Potentially, you can buy 5 investment properties with 20% down, assuming average price of a single family home is 100,000, right? Which is the case right now, 2013. Then you can retire in 10 years with $5,000 of net monthly real estate passive income for life, with no mortgage debts and no need to tap into your real estate equity. How? By using the monthly net cash flow from your properties to pay off the line of credit, as well as then after you pay it off in a few years, the line of credit, then you can focus on the cash flow to use the remaining net cash flow from your properties to pay an extra payment on the principal per month on your 30-year mortgages. So therefore, in 10 years, you should be able to pay off all your 5 properties. Then no more debts, no more mortgages, then you can live on the 5 grand per month. Isn't that cool? Yes, it is. What other options once you have access to money? Some people, they may use the money to flip REO properties, real estate owned, which is foreclosures, right? Properties for profits. They can buy multi units. They can use the money to buy commercial properties. They can participate as part of a hedge fund to secure bulk purchases of REO portfolios, right? I mean, a whole bunch of ways uh, to uh, to make your money work hard once you have the money available, the line of credit, that is. However, my personal favorite, you know what's my personal favorite? To buy single family homes, starting with this back in North Dakota property, right? If you purchase, this is a current inventory, believe it or not, 254,000. It's a brand new construction located in Stanley, North Dakota. The projected rental income is $3,500. Yes, 3,500. Where else can you buy investment property for 254,000 with 3,500 gross rent? Nowhere in the country, nowhere ever before using this numeric ratio. Not even California, not even close. In California, if you buy investment property for 254,000, you're lucky to get $2,000 monthly rent, maybe 2,500. Nowhere near 3,500. Okay, if you calculate, then let's move on. If you calculate the monthly expenses, the property taxes monthly, the insurance monthly, property management fee 125, total expenses 500, net operating income 3,000. Your down payment is 63,500 from cash position on a full doc loan, right? Then this is a half of a duplex, by the way. You're just buying one unit of the duplex, 1,600 square foot. And then at the end of the day, let me scroll down to 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, right? At the end of the day, see the bottom? Your projected monthly cash flow after mortgage deductions and all the expenses monthly equals net of $2,035. Unbelievable. Now, of course, I'm not going to go over too much, but you could download this all these links I provided for you to do your due diligence and research so you can make an informed decision, right? A whole bunch of research. You can Google everything about the back end. You can download my these kind of videos. Jim Cramer did some research on it, some articles, the Wild Wild West, behind the back end boom, housing renaissance, and so forth and so on. And then, of course, you can listen to my webinar that I did back in November of last year, 2012, and in which we promoted 28 units with similar pricing, and those 28 units were all sold within a few months. So go ahead and download this link and listen to the webinar replays to get understanding of why the backend is going through a current oil boom, job boom, and housing boom, and you are in the front end of a market in which you can make some very, very good money moving forward. Okay. Anyway, so let's get down to your unique situation. The lender look at 4 C's. The lender look at your credit. If you have collateral, that's all the better, right? If you have asset, if you have capacity, do you have the capacity to pay people back? And right, the bonus is if you have a co-signer or partner that can do this line of credit, you can double the money. You can get more money, right? So the 4 C's, that's critical, right? That's a sign of a good credit behavior. Now, so far I've been promoting this program, this line of credit program, mainly for real estate investors, passive investors. Okay, you guys are not real business owners in a traditional sense of the word. Like when I mean with business owner, people that own a brick and mortar store, like a retail store, a local sandwich shop, or a local mom and pop store, that you can walk in and buy whatever, right? You can, as a furniture store, or sandwich shop, or a self-employed physician, self-employed dentist, whatever. They are real self-employed individuals. If they own a successful business for a while, and if they make 100 grand net salary per year or more, and they can qualify for additional funding that a typical real estate investors may not be able to qualify. So although this presentation is directed toward real estate investors, I mean, if you're self-employed, highly successful self-employed, been doing it for at least 2 years, you may be able to qualify for, SBA, Small Business Administration loans. Also, the same unsecured credit line, equipment financing, merchant advances, accounts receivable financing, business revenue lending, so forth and so on, right? So anyway, getting back to my real estate investors or any real estate investors out there, since most of you are investors, of course, this unsecured business line of credit unique program is the most appropriate strategy for you. Once you get qualified, then from the time you begin your paperwork to for the underwriter to funding, it'll take about around 2 months. Okay. So the 100 grand of unsecured line of credit may be funded by several lenders. One lender may provide for 25,000, another lender will provide for 30,000, yet another lender will provide for 15,000, and based on their unique underwriting standards. Okay, everybody's different. Okay, I have access within my system, okay, my funding program to hundreds of lenders throughout the country. Okay, and they all take a small risk. Okay, no one lender will risk giving you 100 grand just because you have an excellent FICO score and what have you, right? So everybody take their own small little risk. At the end of the day, you're leveraging your good credit behavior with money, what otherwise you would not be able to obtain. So you may obtain one line of credit at a time or multiple, okay? And then this line of credit is not reportable on your personal credit report. That's going to help you, right? If this line of credit is reported on your credit report, then you have a higher debt to income ratio, and then you may not even qualify to obtain a full doc loan because of the high debt to income ratio, right? Anyway, so that's a good sign. Everything go through the business. Once your line of credit is funded, you have the flexibility of how much to access at any given time. Whatever the amount you take out is the money you have to pay back based on the terms of the line of credit. It's that simple. If you don't take any money out, no need to pay. You just let the money sit in there on your checkbook account, on your debit card, right? With a checking account. When you qualify for the line of credit, you're giving check writing privileges, a debit card. You can access the money anytime. That's how it works. Right? Many of you in the past have home equity line of credit, right? Same concept. So the line of credit you can use for financial emergencies, parking the money for future use, to buy real estate, to grow your small business. Well, there are multiple needs people can think of. So typical line of credit loan scenario, depending on a lender, we have many lenders. The first 6 months of the line of credit could be a zero introduction rate, or up to 12 months, depending on the lender. Okay, so all you pay is the fees up front, which is rolled into the loan. Okay, so this is the underwriting risk assumed by the lender. It is what it is, right? If you use the money to leverage above and beyond the cost of borrowing, then one would make a reasonable deduction that this is a good action plan. And by no other financial institutions will give you the money that we can. All right. We talk about no doc loan, no documentation, no financials, no W-2, no tax return, no profit and loss, zero. And of course, your personal FICO score of 780, ideally or higher. Not to say that if you have a lower FICO score, if you have a 750 or 740 FICO score, you may be able to get some kind of funding. But at the end of the day, as I indicated earlier on that very important slide, you look at the ratio of the credit limit versus the balance on your existing revolving debt, which is your credit cards. That pretty much will determine the amount of money you can get, not necessarily your FICO score. Okay, you need to understand the distinction. All right. So if you have bad credit, or of course, you can come to my credit repair side of my business. I can help you clean your credit as much as possible. I can help you, get additional credit card for the next 12 to 24 months to build up the credit limit and pay down your debt, pay down your balance. Then your FICO score may be higher in the next a year or 2 year. Then you may qualify for this line of credit. Or you can use currently, or you can use if you on the borderline qualifying, perhaps you want to use a friend or business partner as a personal guarantor, right? Co-partner. So I'll go over quickly on this. You know what's going on. I just summarize it. Back in '05, '07, many people make a lot of mistakes buying properties at the peak of the market. But now you have a chance on this to obtain the unsecured business line of credit to buy very high cash flow properties below construction costs in the greatest real estate down cycle in history, right? We are right now at the tail end of this historic down cycle where prices are at the lowest, mortgage rate at the historical low, investment rate is around 4.5 to 5% for 30-year mortgages for investors, real estate investors, that is. The rental rates are increasing, right? The rent is increasing and the markets are coming back everywhere in the country, right? That's what it's all about. All right. Bottom line, how else can you access this amount of money? Borrow from family members, borrow from friends, partners. Most of them are broke. Monthly savings, it'll take you years for you to save up to 100,000. Now you can see the tremendous value of this program. Now is the perfect timing and opportunity to access the money to provide cash flow for your business, provide real estate investors to buy more properties to achieve financial freedom fairly quickly. Take advantage of a very limited small window of opportunity remaining to participate in the greatest time in modern history to get rich with real estate. This real estate cycle started back in '08, right? You know that. Right now it's 2013. This is 6 years of a down cycle. The backlog of foreclosed REO inventories is almost all absorbed. It is predicted that 2013 and beyond, home prices will rise, mortgage rates will increase, and real estate rate of return would not be as attractive in the future as it is right now. Now is the time. The mortgage loan market has almost dried up. Loan underwriting guidelines are very, very strict. In order to get an unsecured line of credit, some of you are thinking, oh, maybe I should do some shopping around. You go to your local bank in your neighborhood. B of A, Wells Fargo, Chase comes to mind. They're not going to give you an unsecured business line of credit just like that. Those local banks, they're very strict. They are a in-house. They only have one product. They can't broker into other institutions to get you what you need. Okay, with the system and the program that I have, right? If you walk in, so if you walk into a bank, you're gonna say, "Oh, I have a 780 FICO score. I'm a real estate investor. I want to borrow 100 grand." You know what the loan agent at the local bank gonna say? Call security. They will escort you out. You're making to the local bank a unreasonable request. Okay, it doesn't happen. The local banks, the mainstream banks, they have the one product, for example, is a full doc loan. It's a full doc secure loan to get you the 100 grand line of credit. For example, their criteria could be, you must be a self-employed business, right? Self-employed business, not a real estate investor, right? You at least 5 years, whatever. You have to show your business tax return, profit and loss, bank account money. You have to have some kind of collateral. You have to have some kind of asset in your business, right? Okay, and they ask for typical annual net revenue of 100 grand or more, right? And the business owner themselves need to have a high FICO score, 720 or higher, with no DROGs, no BK, no foreclosure, no short sale on their credit record, right? Clean, clean, clean. Also, the local bank may ask the business owner about whether they have any kind of a business credit, right? Like a business Experian, Equifax, PayDax, Dun& Bradstreet scores, and they also look into whether, as a business, you have numerous business merchant credit card, business credit cards showing pay on time and aging of accounts, right? So that's what they put you through. With our business line of credit, none of the above is necessary. All you need is a personal FICO score of desirably 780 or higher, and with the underlying high credit limit, low balances, like I mentioned earlier. And all they ask is you'll create a LLC because you're doing a sort of a business funding, not a personal funding. So LLC, limited liability paperwork, put that in place in about a couple of months. Once you complete the underwriting application, you will slowly get the money, get those money. It is this simple. So a real decision is measured by the fact that you have taken a new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided. Tony Robbins. Okay, there's no certainty how much longer this funding program will be available, or if the guidelines may change in the future. Let's recap. You are motivated to be rich. Okay, you are serious. You're determined. Right, and you have an excellent FICO score. We can get you the money. Use the money however you please, preferably in real estate, right? Take action now and retire in 7 to 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, you have 3 options, and 3 options only. 1, do nothing, continue to mirror in middle class poverty or worse. 2, do something on your own. Lack of knowledge, lack of insight, access to money source, very, very difficult to do it yourself, right? To do it yourselfers. You can't do it yourself. You need a team. And 3rd, hire a trusted resource, a trusted advisor. Me, Si Wing Yi. Okay? Those are the only 3 options. Okay? What's the cost of using this service? $3,500 payable to me. One time commitment fee. Question: in addition to my fee, what could be the total estimated cost in the next 1 or 2 months once I use this line of credit funding system? The answer: there are some small, very small fees, but the biggest fee, in addition to my fee, would be the cost of setting up a corporate entity. I mean, you can go to anybody to set up the limited liability company, but my source, he only charged initially for a basic setup is $497, $497. If you want more bells and whistles, of course, it'll cost you more. But you talk to him. Okay, his name is Leonard Robin. His number right there, 909-944-7226, and his email. All right. And then once you enter my system, our business credit and funding advisors will create a portal for you with a login password. They'll walk you through the entire process, and you will get the funding in a few months. To get started, contact me, Si Wing Yi, to go over your situation. If you have a credit report, that's critical, of course. I do need a credit report, please. For complimentary qualification consultation over the phone, please fax or email me your credit report. If you don't have one, you could sign up for one of those online credit monitoring sites. There are so many. The one I recommend is www.creditchecktotal.com, and order all 3 credit reports, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and then email or fax them to me with your full social security number. So on my computer, I can access your credit report, and then I will review your report in a very detailed way. Then I can give you a estimation of funding that I think you may qualify for. Okay, if you qualify, if you wish to proceed to work with me, then I will email you the service agreement form and a credit card authorization form to access the money. 2, then you will fax or email me back the signed service agreement and credit card authorization. And 3, oh, there's a typo. We will assign you a login password to access your web portal, and then we will assign you our business funding advisor to guide you through the process, right? And in about a few months, you will get funding depending on your qualification, your credit score, your credit limit, and all those things we discussed. Anywhere up to 100,000. All right. So uh, thank you for attending. My website. My name is Si Wing Yi, and my email is siwingyi@siwingyuseminars.com. My website is www.siwingyuseminars.com, and you click on my website, you will see the investment properties that I've been promoting all these years. My focus is out-of-state properties, where you want to live, where you want to live, which is then invest where the numbers make sense. And I'm promoting various different market. Many of you know about my philosophy, and I'm working in the Phoenix and Las Vegas market, San Antonio, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, and of course the back end, which is my number one favorite, back end investment real estate for my investors. Okay, thank you so much for put up with me for this. How long this been? Almost 50 minutes. All right, thank you so much. My phone number at the bottom, and my fax number, my email, everything. So thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Hope you received a lot of value. So if you're really committed to make a difference in your financial life for yourself and your family, then contact me, and then I will get you started. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.